This isn't just losing. I mean, this is getting taken apart on the biggest stage in college football. For a powerhouse like Alabama, an undefeated team, being down by 17 points, that feels like an impossible climb. For a team that expects to win, this is just a total shock to the system.
And you gotta understand, this wasn't just a slow start. This was a complete breakdown. Out there in Pasadena, a team that's known for just pure dominance was suddenly, and I mean shockingly, on the ropes.
Now listen to this quote from Coach DeBoer. This is so much more than just a quick comment. He's not really talking to the reporters, you know? He's talking to his players through that camera. He's reminding them, hey, we've been through tough spots before. We know how to handle this. He's trying to plant that seed of belief right when doubt is starting to creep in. And yikes, just look at that. 17-0. That's not just a score, that's a statement. It's the perfect picture of a first half that was, for Alabama, a total nightmare. So, how did they even get into this mess? Well, it wasn't a bunch of small mistakes. It all came down to one incredibly bold gamble in the second quarter that just sent everything sideways. Let's really dig into the moment that changed the whole game. All right, here's the setup. It's 4th down and 1 yard to go on their own 34-yard line. I mean, come on, that's basic football, right? When you're that deep, you just don't mess around. You punt the ball, you trust your defense, and you fight another day. But that is not what happened.
So put yourself in the coach's shoes for a second. Your perfect season is hanging by a thread. Do you play it safe, punt, and trust your D? Or do you risk it all and go for it, knowing if you fail, you're giving the other team an easy score? What's your call?
Well, Coach DeBoer went for it. He rolled the dice. They come out in a wildcat formation, you know, a little bit of trickery, trying to catch the defense sleeping. But Indiana's defense, they weren't fooled for a second. They saw it coming, they crashed the line, and just built a brick wall. The gamble, the trick play, poof, gone, swallowed up by defenders. See, a failed gamble like that, it's not just one bad play. It's like lighting a match that starts a forest fire. The fallout from this was instant, and man, was it bad. And here's the part that just has to sting. They were stopped just half a yard short. Half a yard. We're talking about 18 inches. That was the tiny, tiny margin between keeping the drive alive and a complete disaster. This chart just lays out the painful reality. The gamble fails, so Indiana gets the ball with almost no field to cover. And what happens if you play as later? Touchdown. So think about that. One aggressive decision, one failed play literally handed 7 points to the other team. It's a self-inflicted wound in the biggest game of the year. Okay, so when things go wrong like this, that's when you really see what a leader is made of. All the cameras, all the eyes, they go from the players right to the coach on the sideline. Is he going to make excuses, or is he going to own it? This is a huge test of leadership. And there it is. No finger-pointing, no excuses. In his halftime interview, Coach DeBoer takes all of the blame. He looks straight into that camera and says, "One of those is on me." That's a huge moment of accountability, and it absolutely sets the tone for his entire team. So what's going on in that locker room? You might think there's yelling, panic, but no. The message was calm, it was focused. DeBoer basically told his team, look, this is a long game. We just have to keep playing. Let's regroup, let's make our adjustments, and let's remember all the tough stuff we've already fought through this season. But let's be real, the challenge they're facing is gigantic. This isn't just your average 17-point hole. When you really look at the details, you see that this particular mountain is way steeper than others they've had to climb before. I mean, this chart just shows you how anemic the offense was. Only 93 total yards. It's not just that they couldn't score, they could barely move the ball at all. And to make things even worse, the one time they did put a good drive together, it ended with a fumble. It was just brutal. They didn't just need to make adjustments, they needed a complete turnaround.
And this right here, this is the key difference. Sure, they'd been down 17-0 before in a big playoff game, but against Oklahoma, they clawed their way back and tied it up before halftime. This time, the first half is over. They're still down by 17, they've made up 0 ground, and now the clock is officially not their friend.
So that's where we are, right on the edge of this second half. It's a story about a huge gamble, a costly mistake, and a coach who refuses to stop believing. So the question is, can that belief, can that leadership actually be enough to turn the tide in a championship game? Well, the next 30 minutes of football are going to give us the answer.